largest attack submarine ever built, the Russian K-141 KURSK, was laid down in 1992 and launched 2 years later. 154 meters long and 4 stories high, she had a diving depth of between 300 and 600 meters. The sub was commissioned as part of the Russian Northern Fleet and was the last of the Oscar II class submarines designed and built in the Soviet era. In August 2000, the KURSK set out on a dummy torpedo drill, along with 3 other attack subs, the fleet's flagship, Peter the Great, and some smaller ships. At 11:28 local time on the 12th of August, the KURSK fired the first of its dummy torpedoes at the flagship. But there was an explosion. The cause is the subject of much debate. Was it due to defects in the experimental torpedo? Or was it in fact the result of a collision with another sub, possibly a foreign vessel, as many believe? The explosion measured 2.2 on the Richter scale and caused the KURSK to sink over 100 meters to the bottom of the Barents Sea. A second explosion, twice as powerful as the first, occurred a couple of minutes later. Though most of the submarine's crew were killed outright in those first 2 explosions, 23 of the 118 crew members aboard survived in Compartment 9, the one furthest away from the blasts. But despite rescue attempts from British and Norwegian naval teams, these men could not be reached in time and also died. While Russian authorities tried to claim that their survival was brief, notes found on the body of Captain Lieutenant Dmitry Kolesnikov suggested that he and his men had hung on for hours. Also found in Compartment 9 were potassium superoxide chemical cartridges, which are used to absorb carbon dioxide and chemically release oxygen. This suggests the crew members had survived for several days before a flash fire used up the rest of the oxygen, leading to death by asphyxiation. The badly damaged ship was eventually salvaged by a Dutch team in 2001, which cut off the bow during the process. All the bodies were recovered and finally laid to rest. The 11th of May 1985 was supposed to be a day of celebration for the Bradford City Football Club, as it marked the English team's triumph as winners of the 3rd Division trophy. Instead, it is a day that is now remembered by the citizens of the town as one of horror, as 54 of the team's supporters and 2 fans of the visiting Lincoln City side were killed as fire swept through the Valley Parade football stadium. Another 450 were injured, half of them requiring hospital treatment. Many of the others were helped by members of the local British Asian community, who immediately opened up their homes around the ground and rushed to help. Knowing that their team had already won the 3rd Division Championship, Bradford City's fans had turned out in great numbers for the match. The 11,076-strong crowd was double the average attendance for the season. The fire started 40 minutes into the match, with the score standing at 0-0. A pile of rubbish beneath a stand was accidentally ignited by a discarded cigarette, and the fire took hold rapidly, with spectators being moved onto the playing field to escape the flames. Those at the rear of the 77-year-old wooden stand, however, were trapped by inward-opening exit doors and locked turnstiles, and were quickly overcome by the toxic smoke. The number of deaths would have been even greater if it hadn't been for the actions of those who had already escaped the fire. 28 police officers and 22 supporters were publicly recognised as having saved at least 1 life and later received bravery awards. An inquiry into the fire also led to new laws to improve safety at UK football grounds. There was a ban on the building of wooden grandstands, and the Valley Parade Stadium of today is very different to the one of 1985, with only the clubhouse and 1 flank support wall of the original structure remaining. And every year at the 11th hour of the 11th day of May, a memorial service is held by the City Hall, followed by a minute's silence to remember those who lost their lives.